Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we are working on our mailbox. As you can see, I'm pretty sure it's original to the house and we want to give this a facelift like we've done to the rest of the house. So we're going to be DIY weekend warriors and tackle this. So I've got some inspiration and let's talk through what the project is today. Alright guys, let's talk about what my inspiration was for this project as well as kind of how we worked through it. So our house was built in 1957 and it's kind of a mid-century ranch. It doesn't have a ton of like mid-century character. However, I feel like I've interjected some of that through our renovations and through the changes we've made over the last couple of years. So I really wanted to create a mailbox design that, you know, embodied a little bit more modernness to it. It's not a traditional style. You can see some of the mid-century aspects, especially in our landscaping. We have some juniper and also some miniature Japanese maples, so like and it's very much like minimalist. So I wanted to keep with that design and also have it tie back to the color scheme of the house. So I went to Pinterest, as any good DIYer does, to be inspired and found a couple of things. I'll link the blogs and stuff that I was inspired by down below. Like I said, I knew I wanted it to be modern. I knew I didn't want to pull up my mailbox that I currently had, and so I was looking for a solution that could utilize what's already there as well as kind of capitalize it and make it new and fresh. The mailbox unit itself was in good working order. It was leaning, like the post had come loose and wobbly, so it was leaning forward and to the side a little bit. So we wanted to create a solution that utilized what was there but also did not require us to rip the whole thing out, because there was a lot of things that were working for it that we wanted to keep. So first things first is I took a can of spray paint, and y'all, when I sent my dad the DIY, like the in progress pictures, he was enthralled with the new mailbox that we had gotten, and I had to inform him that it was not new. I just used a couple of cans of spray paint and it made the world of difference. So first step is to give this bad boy some spray paint. After a little research, I found out that you can only paint the flags red, orange, purple, or pink. So we're gonna go with red, and then I'm gonna paint the mailbox itself black. My first tip to you is maybe try spray painting it if you can to see if that helps freshen up the space. Then came the hardest part of the project, which was getting the secondary post in to support the front of the mailbox so that it was leaning from here to being level. So we actually used, I don't know what they're called. I'm gonna call it a mailbox post spike. It's 24 inches long. You hammer it down into the ground so you don't have to dig out the hole and you don't have to like pour cement in to secure it. You put this post in, and we just cut a piece of a 4x4 off and hammered it down in there, and then with a lot of pulling and tugging we pulled the mailbox back and had to hammer in the new 4x4 to support the front of the mailbox that was leaning. Relatively easy if you have two people. If you don't, find a friend. So we installed that, made sure we got it all level and square and plumb, and then we secured it utilizing wood screws, like 4-inch wood screws, and just screwed in at an angle to hold it. The goal was to wrap this structure with wood slats. So to make an even space, we had to add an extra 4x4 to the back of the post on the bottom as well as on the top, so that it was a flush surface for the boards to wrap around. To secure the new pieces to the existing post, we used 4-inch lag bolts. Now, it looked a little wonky at this point, so the intention was to wrap this unit, this dual post unit, in some sort of wood so that we can create some slats and really give a clean, modern, sleek look to it. So we actually used the picket fence. Well, they aren't picket fence, but your typical 6-foot fence boards that are really thin and are dog-eared at the top. We actually use those, and the reason why we use those is a couple of things. I think they were like $1.58 versus a 1x6 was like $2 something, so it was a big cost difference. They are rough cut lumber, so it wasn't the smoothest amount or the smoothest lumber that you can use. If you want a really polished look, I would suggest spending the money, but we didn't really need it to be polished. We knew we were going to stain it a dark color, so any of the imperfections would change or would be hidden. Additionally, we use these because they are a little bit thinner. They were only 5/8 of an inch thick versus 7/8 inch thick, which helped save on how wide it was. It just worked better with our measurements, and they're actually a little thinner than a traditional 6-inch board, so the math worked out better. We wanted to ensure a snug fit, so we cut each board down and measured as we went to make sure that they fit snugly around the existing mailbox, and just attach these with 3-inch wood screws. Okay, so there's a portion in the mailbox that has a little notch, and sometimes it's easier for me to draw it out than it is to try and explain between Ian and I what we're doing. So let me show you what we're gonna do to fix this. Okay, so we've got our piece of wood, right? And it needs to be 23¼ long. And we need to notch it out. We need to do one side for each, so it'll be mirrored on each. But we basically have to come in 7 inches here and rip this portion out of the board. So we'll take a table saw, we'll measure where 7 inches is here, take a table saw, rip into that point, and then we'll probably use our Dremel to cut this little notch out. It's not going to be a big space. It might be really hard to do with 1/4 of an inch. All right, so now I need to measure in 7 inches from here. We'll have to take this down on the table saw. So this is my 7-inch mark. And then we're gonna do 1/4 of an inch in this way. So I'm thinking it's gonna be like right in there. But I need 2 of these. I need one to mirror it. So we're gonna measure out another 23¼ and then cut that one. And then we'll do the ripping on the table saw. I will say using the table saw made it very easy work of this, and then we took the Dremel and just notched that little piece out. I would say if you don't have a table saw, try to align your measurements so that you don't have to make little finicky cuts like this. This was probably the most tedious portion of this entire project. Not to mention the scariest. I hate getting my fingers that close to a saw, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do for the DIYs, am I right? This ended up fitting perfectly, which I was really happy about. I was kind of worried that it would look a little weird, but in the end, I don't think anyone will notice that we had to notch the board out to accommodate for the size of the mailbox. We picked the hottest day of the year to do this project, I swear. By the end of it, Ian and I both were so sunburnt, but you know, we made quick work of it once we got the hang of it. Especially after you do one side, the second side is super easy. So here you see us just screwing on all of those boards, adding in wood screws to hold the board in place. We used wood screws as a spacer. You want to make sure that the board has some room to flex in case it swells and contracts, because wood will do that, and you want to make sure that it doesn't crack, especially after all the hard work you put into your project. Now that we've got both the sides on, we are going to cap this by putting some planks on the back here and then at the top. They'll overlap a little bit and give it a nice finished edge. As it is finally not raining for 2 consecutive days in what feels like an entire month. So I'm going to, it's about 6 o'clock. I'm gonna get out there and stain it. It should have a full 24 hours to dry before the rain comes in again. I'm gonna be using some leftover deck stain that we have from our renovations maybe a year or 2 ago. This is the Sherwin-Williams exterior super deck solid color flat, and it's called Black Elder. So this is gonna be very close to the Irving bronze that we used on the house. So the mailbox will coordinate back to the house, which is ideal. And then I'm gonna add some, let me show them to you guys if I can. I got some really pretty modern house numbers. I'm not gonna show me installing these, honestly, because I just don't want my address out in the world, and I just dropped a screw. But I found these off of Amazon, I'll link them below. But they're just these like really nice silver, so I think they'll pop against the darker color of stain. And then I want to plant some plants. I don't know if I'll get it done in time for this video, kind of around the base of it, of the mailbox. So while the weather is good, we're gonna get out here and stain this mailbox situation. And I am hoping that it goes rather quickly. So yeah, let's get to it. It's important to know that you have to wait until the wood has cured, if you're using treated wood, which mine has cured for about, we did this project about a month ago. So it just depends on climate. Like, you can research it till the cows come home, but honestly, it all depends on climate, weather, how wet the material was that you used. However, the way that you test if it's ready to stain is take a little bit of water and drop it on there, and if it still repels the water, then it is not cured enough. And if it kind of absorbs a little bit into the wood, then you know that your wood is ready to stain. This is to help guide you to make sure that the stain will take and not just sit on top of your wood and won't become streaky the first moment that it rains. So anyway, we are gonna get to this. I know for a fact my wood is good and that I'm ready to go. I've seen it wet from all of the rain that we have. So I'm gonna get out there and stain it and bring y'all along. So let's get to it. I think this was my favorite part of the project. You really got to see the mailbox come to life and take shape of what it would look like in its final state. Now it's time for a little before and after. I personally think it turned out really great. I am very pleased with the direction. I need to plant some shrubbery. I think I'm gonna get some citron green leafed bushes and then put some rock to tie in with the color of our chairs on the front porch, as well as the other landscaping that's in the front yard. I think it turned out great. I personally love it. I think it instantly increased our curb appeal by tenfold. So let me know in the comments below. Do you think it turned out well? Would you have gone more traditional with the style of house that we have? Like, I want to know what your thoughts are. Have you tackled this yourself? It really was an easy DIY project that I think anybody could do. So if you're thinking about it, they do say that curb appeal is what sells a house. So if you're looking to put your house on the market pretty soon, I would seriously consider giving your mailbox a little update, even if it's just a coat of spray paint. Y'all, it makes a world of difference. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to click that like button and hit the subscribe button. We do DIYs around here, some estate sale shopping. We also do some very opinionated design videos over here on my channel. I think I mentioned in a video previously, I used to upload every single weekend. But we've had some things happen in our personal lives that, you know, we need to put focus on. So my job has gotten really busy. We have some travel coming up. Delilah, we found out, sadly, she has cancer. So we are, you know, having to kind of work around that and her treatments, as well as we just want to spend more time with her. I'll be honest, this, as much as I enjoy doing it, it did feel like a second job. And I found that I was losing some of the joy of why I started this channel in the first place. So I really want to ensure that this is a place of creativity and a space for expression of that creativity and my design styles and skills. And just want to make sure that I'm keeping this as something that I'm doing for myself and not creating a situation where I create more burnout. In my previous job, I really felt burnt out a lot of the time, and I did not have space in my life for anything else. And I just want to ensure that I continue to have the balance that I've found in the past year, and I want to make sure that, you know, I have a creative outlet that I can, you know, do these fun DIY projects and things. So anywho, that's a lot to say that, you know, I may not be uploading as frequently as I have in the past. However, I still am going to be uploading projects as we do them. And I hope you guys will subscribe and come along with me on this journey. And I will see you guys in the next one very, very soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.